Tonight on the Eyrie, Grant, Jack, and I cry and get really annoyed at incompetence both on and off the field. Stay tuned. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined by Grant and Jack, as always. How are you doing, boys?
All good.
Yeah, good mate. Yeah,
Unfortunately, Josh is unable to join us this week due to, well, I don't really know.
he's
Any
distraught.
clue where he's gone?
He's just distraught, isn't he? Can't bring himself to.
He hasn't explained himself this week.
He
Yeah.
hasn't. Yeah,
I think realistically he's just quite upset that Cam Sheedy's in the Wales squad and he isn't.
yeah. Oh no, yeah. When I said he's distraught, I did mean that he's finally come to terms with the staff, the fact that Hastings might be better than him. So,
I doubt it. Either way, there's not. Let's go quickly through a few bits of news. One is a bit big, so I'll save it till later. I think the main other bit is that Max Proro, former Ospreys, signs a short-term deal with Bristol after a year and a half out of the professional game. Best of luck to him. He was always quite good with us, I felt. Nippy just couldn't really get a run of games together. Bit of fitness was probably his biggest issue. Such a shame it didn't work out. It's nice to see he's got a nice club. You really enjoyed Proro, didn't you, Jack?
yeah, that's always great. He said, going forward, fantastic. Always looked dangerous. Scored some really good tries. When he was on the pitch, but as you said, like injuries and getting a good run of games together never quite happened. But yeah, best of luck to him at Bristol.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to watch when he arrived. It was in Toby Booth's first season during lockdown. Seem to remember some of the tries.
I think
Evans as well, was it?
I think in his first game as against Edinburgh at home, he linked up really nicely with Keith to score
Yeah,
the winner, which was a blind. God, that gave me hope.
yeah.
But it is something I'll always be remembered of us, and it's a shame we had to let him go when everyone left. So
I wonder if he's been selling Christmas trees at school fetes to make ends meet.
Oh,
Um,
around Bristol.
yeah,
Yeah,
around Bristol. Yeah.
yeah. Some people might be doing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't think
I don't.
that's just rugby career as a matter of the rule.
I mean, I get he has white hair, but it's on his head, not on his chin.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. It'll go a long way to beat Grant selling Christmas trees, I'll tell you that.
Hey, it's all for charity.
Brilliant.
Why I've got to go to Bristol. Well, I do know why I'm going to Bristol. I'm helping out my daughter who is the events manager in Clifton High School. So yeah, I'm going to spend the day with her other half selling Christmas trees. I'm giving the sort of customers that might be around Clifton High School, there might be some quite expensive Christmas trees.
I don't sell one to my sister. She can't afford it. I was gonna say that's probably the only real piece of news this week.
Yeah.
Not massively. It means bit of pod news, in that I think we're planning as a pod to be at Munster at home cumulatively. I think Josh is planning to be there. I know Grant and Nick were at most games, but
Yeah.
both I and Jack are planning to trek our ways down. I think it's best if we try and if you want to come up and say hi during said game or before and after. We'll be in the riverside, I imagine, enjoying many a beer.
Yeah, well, we'll sort out the details as we get towards the game now, isn't it? In terms of meeting points, pre and post match, I'll have a few supporters club responsibilities on the day, but hopefully that'll just be about socialising and being nice to support us and having a beer with them.
Naturally. So if you don't want to just come down and watch Kieran Williams run at people, which I sort of do, come down and say hi to us. It'd be a great pleasure. Let's go on into the elephant in the room then. Dragons away. We didn't lose.
Oh, that shouldn't be a highlight that in any way, should it? I know it's an improvement on the last three results down there, but
We should have won that by 20 points. Like,
a lot of Dragon supporters will say they should have won it. I think in the end, the draw was a fair reflection in one team that couldn't finish the other one off, and another team who were just not very good going forward. And again, it shows in it when you look at the bottom of the table, and there we all are gathered at the bottom, unfortunately. So frustrating.
Yeah, it's more of the same, isn't it? I think I've said this on a few pods now, but this what is slightly concerning, and it was also similar to the end of last season, and we were hoping it was kind of due to games in Europe, and like that kind of emotional hangover. But there seems to be this thing where we find it really hard to get momentum back once we lose it. And I think it is, mostly down to just silly penalties a lot of the time. If you look at a lot of the games we've been in, we've been punished for either like inaccuracies at like line out time or scrum time, but they lead to penalties that keep us pinned in, in areas of where we don't want to be. I mean, there has been some talk. I think we chatted about it as well in the group chat over like Dan Edwards and his ability to control a game. But it's really, really hard to control a game if you're consistently pinned back due to set piece penalties or just sloppy penalties like give away to the Dragons. For
We
all
had
the good
37% possession, didn't we?
Yeah, and there's loads of really good rugby played. And actually, if you look at the points from last season to this season, they're fairly similar. I think we've picked up points at different places, obviously, but like it's not too dissimilar from last season. So I don't want to be overly negative because I think there's been some really, really good rugby played. It's just that like keeping your foot on the gas and keeping teams out and controlling. Once you get a 12-0 lead, like, and I don't want to compare them to any, I don't want to compare them because completely different players and give you different phases of their career. But if you went 12 points up, but you were Dan Bigger at fly half, for instance, and you feel like you're going to play the game in the right areas and you can maintain that. Whereas, at the moment it seems to be we're just giving up really easy field position, so it doesn't really matter. It's a terrible point because it sounds like I'm saying that Dan Edwards doesn't control the game, but that's not my point. My point is to come back round. Can't keep giving away these penalties that are letting teams back into games and spoil the momentum.
It feels like we've got quite an immature squad
Yeah.
in that regard. Like, sure, they've all been around for a while, but they're still quite young in terms of rugby players and just haven't quite got a nous around them that you necessarily expect.
You bled them, didn't you? And they've had to have opportunities because of the size and strength of the squad. And you would like to say, oh, it's great building for the future, but we'll come on to the future later. But Jack, you're right. The number of times you've given away penalties which have given the opposition prime field position the opportunity to score from close range. God, the two games in South Africa started off with, okay, you can understand that against some really strong, tough teams, but we've carried on doing the same thing. So again, it's things you can fix, but we haven't fixed them yet, have we?
I don't know, because you go to the games, Grant, as well, but the maul defense seems to be like quite a big problem as well. Conceding a lot of tries from mauls from line outs, and I guess it's to be expected. Adam Beard is one of the best in the game at maul defense, but it is something that I think needs to be looked at as a team.
I think it's a lot of we were used to relying on Adam Beard a lot, and it's not something that James Fender quite has for nous for yet. It's sort of a like for like. I imagine with Ryan Smith once he's fit, whenever that is at this point, would be nice better at because Rhys Davis doesn't strike me as a particularly mauly line out option. He seems more of a he's not quite got the Charterizian characteristics of him.
Telescopic arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might go through the middle of them all just due to his bulk, mind.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. He's a strong guy.
But I do think there's
God,
seen enough though in these games to think that actually there's a really good side in there. If you look at some of the attacking moves and some of the play, and Devesy's try again, brilliant. It's like a ferret gone, so there is like loads of good play, and like the backs at times, like the way they move the ball is really, really good. It's just about ironing out these like simple penalties and kind of trying to then maintain that pressure and playing the game in the right areas of the pitch, and I think would be great. So I always say this, I don't want to be overly negative because I don't think it is negative. I think that played really good rugby in the first block of games,
Yeah, but you look at the good rugby we played, and it was great, wasn't it? We scored 3 beautiful tries. 3 beautiful tries compared to 3 more tries getting over our line. And when we played great rugby, we played great rugby, but it's like, okay, yeah, put the other hat on. Okay, when you're in defensive mode, what can we do? What can we do differently?
Yeah.
We need to start like stopping the line out drives at source, seems to be, rather than letting anyone get any momentum, and whether that's never compete, or but if you don't compete, okay, and the opposition can throw the ball like a yard off in their direction, is really, really easy for them to set up properly as well. It's tricky.
Yeah.
I'm not a line-out expert. I should shut up around this.
Just an aside, do you think we should be slightly concerned about our defence going forward? Obviously, this first 5 weeks of Tipperix being our defence coach, and we all know how class he is as a player. I'm just looking at sort of points conceded, and we've conceded 140 points, which is fifth most in the URC so far this season. Is that just a notion of we went to South Africa away already? Or is it maybe something to be slightly more concerned about, especially because some of the plays that the Dragons are doing were okay, and they're not exactly an attacking powerhouse.
No, their attacking wasn't great though, was it? They didn't have a lot of forward momentum. They shuffle the ball about. They got one-up runners. Aaron Wainwright carried his heart out. And so Dragon supporters, he was massively successful, man of the match by miles. You watch the game back, it's like there's not a lot coming from him. So what? We're not leaking points from normal defensive situations. We're leaking points from giving away penalties we shouldn't be giving away, and ended up trying to defend from 5-10 meters out, which just seems to be an issue at the moment. I think that the general sort of alignment of the backs seems to be managed well enough, I think. Like, we do get tired though. You can see them getting tired when you look at the way we blitz at the start of the game compared to the way we finish games.
I think as well, like losing Keith.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, particularly in this game. And it wasn't so long ago we talked about the performance against the Stormers and keeping them out for a bonus point, and the defense looked really, really good. So I think it is more these kind of sloppy errors that are leading to tries and being punished. I think that the disappointing thing is that you'd expect that from teams like the Stormers and Bulls and Glasgow because of the caliber of team that they are, but to concede those points against the Dragons and to concede similar penalties is disappointing for me, because they're a team that, as we said in the last pod, I think as Josh said in the last pod, like everybody else is probably going to beat, based on, basing this. And I know they've been better, and I don't want to slag out the Dragons here, because, I think they have got better, but based on previous seasons, you have to assume that most teams are going to beat them. And so to concede those similar penalties, to give those similar easy entries, to allow them to score those points, I think is the problem. And I'm not sure defense is the problem there. I think more defense, as we talked about, yeah, absolutely. But in terms of like actual general defense, I don't think it's been that bad.
Yeah. Fair enough. Just picking up on just the points we've scored is absurd compared to sort of a lot of other teams. If it does make you feel better, the Scarlets, despite playing a game less, have only conceded 14 points less, which is always quite funny. If we want to have a break to laugh at the Scarlets and have some joy in our lives, now's a good time.
Played 4-1 then. I'm glad you're comparing us to them.
Yeah.
It's always nice to punch down, isn't it?
Yeah. Take the opportunity while we can. Let's circling back then to the game. Any standout performance, Sis, at the end of the day, because we did go to get a result-ish.
Can I start off performance-wise? Okay, the performance of the travelling away support, the Ospreys boys who went down there, boys and girls. There was a lot of noise in the stand. I don't think that it really helped. Okay, when the Dragons start playing Seven Nations Army, and an entire block started singing "Oh Daniel Kasembe," and they kept on playing it, and everyone carried on singing it. It was like, oh. And I think that was fairly early on in the game. But the travelling support were brilliant. Okay, it was really sociable with the Dragon support as well. Met Jamie off Dragon's Lair. Okay, we had a bit of a laugh after the game, quite a long laugh over a few beers after the game as well. But I like standout Ospreys for the day was travelling support for me.
No, fair enough. Any notable performances, Jack, other than the support?
It seemed loud out there. Like I did enjoy it, and I don't know if this is what was happening. So Grant, you can fill me on this. But when he scored his try, was he giving it stick to the Dragons fans in the stand, or was he celebrating with Ospreys fans? I couldn't work it out.
I couldn't see. It was the furthest point from where I was sitting. That was.
It looked like he was giving it some, which made me laugh. I thought Harry Dees was very, very good on the day, as always. As always, yeah. I think I've said that for like 4 weeks in a row now. Jack Morgan came on for his cameo.
Oh my God!
3 turnovers in about 10 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah,
just like, on the field, 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
The turnover stats are brilliant for the Ospreys. I'm thinking, well, how much of that was I think turnover-wise was fairly even throughout the game. Then Jack comes on. I'm thinking Thomas Young played really well.
Yeah.
Eyrie Deves played really well. And then when Jack comes on, you go, yeah, they're really good. They are. He's exceptional. He's off the scale, isn't he? I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, as well. And
he puts his hands on the ball, and they don't come off, do they?
Nope. Latched on. Cockney Singer as well. I thought had another good game.
He's probably been my breakthrough of the season so far.
He looks a tidy player, doesn't he?
He looks. I'm going to use this term very loosely. He looks better than his brother.
I remember seeing his brother play for the first time, watching Wales playing England, I think it was, and he came on the pitch, and I just remember thinking, that's not fair. Wingers shouldn't be that big.
We've had both George North and Alex Cuthbert.
I know, and still he looked big, and still I thought it was unfair. So that's just everything you need to know.
We would have George North and Alex Cuthbert out 1 week, and the following week we'd play Keelan Giles and Luke Morgan, just to play with the heads of the opposition, I think.
Yeah.
I think the pack went well. The front row were dominant. We changed them over about 56 minutes. I think the props had changed when we were 7-19 up. I'm not saying that might have had any impact on the game, because I think the replacements did well enough. Scrum time, I think we looked good.
I was going to say, it felt like we were dominant the way throughout. I didn't think we necessarily got the rewards we would have wanted. Yeah. I think, given how we were sort of pushing them backwards consistently, Ben Breakspear, friend of the pod, not a friend of this podcast specifically, was maybe seeing it in a bit, seeing our technical scrummaging and thinking, no.
Well, you look at, I watched the Dragons Lair earlier, and they were talking about the first scrum where Gareth Thomas got penalised, and they were saying, didn't understand why, because it looked like he just got underneath his opposing number and launched him up in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, Gareth Thomas was thinking, see, what am I supposed to do? Sorry, I pushed too hard.
Yeah. They said he stepped out, didn't he, and then pushed, but I didn't. I mean, yeah, maybe he's then that I didn't see, but
you go back to Phil Cockney, okay? He's played with Max Snadgy for the last couple of weeks, okay, as a makeshift centre, isn't he? As a makeshift partner, and he put him into a lovely gap, didn't he?
Oh, it sounds that beautiful. It's just you're looking at sort of at Danny Ed's looping around, and whoever's playing 13, I think it was an Aaron at 13 at that point, makes a read that's Dan Ed's, and then suddenly Nagy's clean through a 10-meter gap. It's like, it's a bit like, it reminds me of Finn Russell to Sam Redpath in the 2019 Six Nations.
Cam Redpath,
even, where it just, you put in, the pass goes through, it's like, wait, there was a massive hole there. What's going on?
Yeah. Passing into the space, not to the person, isn't it? That kind of,
glorious score.
Yeah, Cockney has made the Supporters Club Player of the Month vote, which is currently live. If you want to go over the ospreysupporters.co.uk, you'll find 6 well-deserved players up for that, on shortlisted for this month's Oscar.
good name, man. I don't think he's been very good. His touch for the second try, well, no, the third try was also just glorious, just burning his man on the outside and giving the offload.
He's just got really, really soft hands, hasn't he? You see him with these little pumps. He gets the ball, always looks dangerous, and you're never quite sure if he's going to take a man or pass it. Keeps the ball. I know this sounds like some of my old rugby coaches. Keeps the ball in two hands, keeps his options open, and draws people in, and just it's lovely.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Josh Matavesi.
Yeah, I think you said that, didn't you? You said that a couple of weeks ago, haven't you?
Well, there was the stupid dummy he pulled off, wasn't it, a couple of weeks back, where he the ball as far as he could on a piece of string and came back in. He's got the skill set, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's not the same shape as Josh.
No, it's nice to see him out there, though, isn't it? Because after last season, didn't get much game time. It's good to see him actually come through and play, and he must be really happy as well, I assume, with the amount of game time he's getting. So yeah, I be really impressed with him, actually. Really good. Yeah. Can we bag him for Wales or something? Is that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
How old will he be by the time he's qualified?
20, 24 now, right? So
probably 27, 28.
Yeah.
That's if he that's if we'll get on to the future.
Yeah, people still be telling me Joe Hawkins is the future then, I suppose.
Fair enough.
Pregnant pause.
Shall we move on? Let's stay in the past and look back at some results that we've had this weekend from the community.
Okay, let me line the screens up the right way around. Tell me when you can see that.
Yeah.
Right, you can see right. It's Cup week this weekend. So start off in the Super Rugby Company though. Llandovery 35, Bridgend 17, Aberarden 45, RGC 35, Swansea 14, Carmarthen Quins 17. So just the one win for our regional teams in Super Rugby Company this weekend. In terms of the Premiership Cup then, Beddau 17, Neath 17. Neath went through on tries there. On the Championship Cup, not quite the same level. Tondy 12, Bedwas 26, Aberystwyth 8, Bridgend Athletic 29, St Joseph's 22, Trebarnos 48, Gorseinon 48, Rumney 10, Gowton 11, Ammanford 24, Kenfig Hill 18, the Wanderers 46. Moving on to Division 1 Cup, Nelson 24, Wenarlyth 24. Nelson go through there on try count. Aberarden Green Stars won 10-0 against Ystalyfera. St Albans 26, Abercrave 31. Hale Cave 30, Llandudno 16. Fishguard and Goodwick 17, Bryncethin 13. Division 2 Cup. And again, I'm just picking out the results related to the Australian teams. It's a bit tricky when it goes into a cup. It gets a few more mixed teams in here. Division 2 Cup. Sorry, don't ask me which division those two, Bryncethin, and I think they're in Division 1. Rubina 17, Aberarden Quins 50. Rumney 50, Puthcall 23, and Carmarthen Athletic 3, Neath Athletic 22. Division 3 Cup, Brincoke 25, Gilvaco 19, and Newton 27, Tonmouth 31. Division 4 Cup, Tenby Athletic 38, Britain Ferry 7, Brackler 20, Ynys 32, Maesteg 41, Crumlin 14, Bonamine Athletic 41, Crickhowell 11, and Tonarefal 34, fall by 0. Division 5 Cup, these are the last results. Bala 14, Bridgend Athletic 29. So it might have been a bit of a trip for Bridgend Athletic up to Bala, but they come away with a good result up there. Whitchurch 3, Kenfig Hill 57. Banwyn 40, Colwyn Bay Athletic 12, Treherbert 17, Dunvant Athletic 26, and Cardiff Met Athletic 69, Tybark 8. There's this week's results.
Some good games in there. Cup week, knockout rugby, Go watch some. There's no fucking reason not to. There's no rugby on this weekend. Go watch a local game. No one wants to sit in the house and watch England.
Yeah. Cup's over. Back to the championships and premierships, etc. So yeah, go and find your local team and wander up and have a pint or a can of pop.
That's quite. Shall we tackle the elephant in the room, the actual elephant in the room, gents? On Friday last week, WRU announced that they are going to be cutting one of the regions in the distant future. It could be the near future, but they didn't give a timescale or name on which region. They gently included that they wanted a team in the capital, a team in the east, and a team in the west, which probably means that it's either us or Scarlets on the line. How much of a fuck up is this?
It's about as shambolic, isn't it, as you could care to imagine, isn't it? The way they announced it. The rumours were let loose the night before saying, "Oh, we're expecting 4 teams to be announced tomorrow," and there was I don't know where that information came from. So I think everyone relaxed. So when it was eventually announced, 50 minutes into a press conference, would you believe 50 minutes? Were they talking about everything but what everyone was sitting there waiting to hear about? They announced we're down to 3 teams, and when I'm on my soapbox already.
Go for it.
You listen to some of the questions that were being put to Richard Collier-Keywood and Dave Redden, and I was gobsmacked when someone said, "Look, if you just look at the results and you look at the performances, how the hell does it look like Newport Gwent Dragons or the Dragons RFC are safe? How on earth?" And Richard Collier-Keywood couldn't answer the question. Dave Redden stood in and said, "It doesn't matter what's happened in the past, we need to be looking at the future." But I would have thought the obvious answer that they should have been talking about is the number of clubs in Gwent. And the fact that that's not the answer they give in, it's just like, I can't believe anything they tell me or understand any of the logic behind, the central, the east, and the west. I keep ranting for a bit longer, and then I'll let someone else speak. Right? I'm sitting on the train going up to Newport on the weekend. We pull out to Cardiff Central Station. We've got, God, we're up to about 20 miles an hour. And the driver goes, "Next station in 10 minutes will be Newport." And I go, "What?" And we've got one in the centre and one in the east of me when they literally 11 minutes apart on the train. I just do not get the logic and their explanation of what they're doing. And the absolute, last one, the absolute bollocks about, it's not necessarily Scarlets and Ospreys fighting this out amongst themselves. They could, look at taking on one of the clubs in, either the East or in Cardiff. What on earth is the man on about?
Well, timing's brilliant, isn't it?
Oh,
timing's always good. WRU's timing's always fantastic. I suspect that their whole thing about, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be the Dragons and why they don't want to be drawn on keeping a team in the East is because they want to be able to make the argument that, well, we gave every team the opportunity to still exist. So they're not going to have any legal challenges about putting people out of business and whatever it may be, right? I suspect that's why they're being a bit, oh, well, you could go and play in Newport if you wanted, or, you could go and play in Cardiff. It's like, yeah, all right. Could sit here all day and talk about, what I think should happen next and what might happen next and whatever it may be. But the cold hard truth is that based on what we've been told, and I think we might as well just accept it as fact, is one of Scarlets, the Ospreys, aren't going to be there soon. And we're not just talking about these teams, these regions, we're talking about heritage, cultural heritage, Welsh cultural heritage. I didn't start supporting the Ospreys or go and watch Aberavon because, I just wanted to watch a team that wins. I went there because of the community. My friends supported them. I went there because of, stories of people like Richard Moriarty. You hear these stories from grandparents in rugby clubs in, anywhere you go, you will meet someone who has a story about, the day that they are drunk Llanelli Dry after beating the All Blacks, Ray Gravel. Neath, Jonathan Davis, the original, that pack in the 90s and the 80s, it was horrible to play against. These are all things that Dave Redden essentially said he didn't care about. And I understand that he's been brought in to do a job, and I understand that he's been brought in to do a job, which is I need to make Welsh rugby successful. So his remit is not to care about the culture. But the culture is what makes people support teams, is what makes people go. If people cared about winning as much as Sam Warburton does, no one would be watching the Dragons. No one would be watching Cardiff. We'd all be watching Leinster or, one of the French teams. I wouldn't be watching Swansea tonight. I'd be watching Man City steamroller them potentially. Like, supporting clubs is not about winning. And it is not about, being the best. It is about culture. It is about identity. It is about what, where your grandparents took you, where your parents took you. And in a year's time, one of these rugby hotbeds in Wales isn't going to have any professional representation. All that goes, all of it, and I think that is incredibly sad. And to say that this doesn't matter, and I don't care who beat the All Blacks, and I don't care who beat Australia and whatever it may be, isn't just offensive, or shouldn't just be found offensive to fans of the West Walian clubs. It should be offensive to anybody who cares about Welsh culture and the role that rugby has had to play in Welsh culture, for a long time. And that's what's kind of got me the most. Obviously, you've got the people losing their jobs, which is sad and so on. But to have such brazen attitudes towards a history that you're told from a young age, I think is a joke. And it's completely missing the point of why people support teams. I could go on about this for ages, but yeah, there we go. I've put my soapbox away, but yeah.
People make these decisions might not even be there by the time it comes to fruition. That's the bit that bugs me no end. And we say, is it worth marching? Is it worth protesting? In terms of protesting against 3 clubs, the WRU might have made the decision. I don't think you can just change their mind. But in terms of protesting about the ineptitude of the WRU and the way they treat them Welsh people, I think is worth people making sure their voices are heard.
Yeah, just treating something that you take with you, right? Like, in terms of talking about rugby with people, I live abroad. It's something that, like, you can actually, like, latch onto and talk about the cultural importance of it within Wales. And that, I'm willing to accept that that's been on the decline in terms of, how people identify with the regions even in the last 20 years. But still it was there. And now, like, just to make decisions by saying, I don't care about that. And I don't blame Dave Redden for that. I want to say that he's brought in with the remit of, you need to make us successful. The WRU was supposed to be the people that are gonna represent that. By God, they made enough money off the Welsh public over the years. So yeah, like, it's just that is what bothers me, because we don't know what comes next. So it's hard to say anything more, than to look at what's been put in front of you and say, well, yeah, it's sad. It is sad, because it makes me sad to think that, as I said, there won't be professional representation in 2 areas of, at least one area, whether it be Llanelli or Swansea, the Swansea area, where, I have really fond memories of the club game when I was a kid, my dad watching it in the living room, and, I'm sure other people have it as well. And there we go. And I know they're talking about merging the Ospreys and Cardiff. But Christ, Cardiff fans couldn't even go down the road to watch their team, let alone watch them if they merge and go and play at the Brewery Field. Like, the reason why it works at the Arms Park is because it's in the centre of town. It's got nothing to do with the rugby and the success of the rugby team. It's the product. And they were willing to admit that Welsh fans don't like the product of the URC. They said, oh, well, we know you don't have affinity to it, but you're going to have to, like, just suck it up and take it.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting there, when you're ignoring all the signs here, which is this, the problem is that people don't want to watch the URC that much, because there's no affinity to it. The reason why people are going to the Arms Park is because it's a Friday night or a Saturday night in town. Same with same with Newport. It's the same, in terms of the Scarlets as well. They get a good crowd because they are culturally attached to it. Everyone's reasons for going places and making these things a success is different. But the one thing I can be sure of is no one's turning up to watch the Dragons because they're going to win the league.
Yeah.
And they're packed full of stars. So, yeah. There you go.
Well done.
Shall I go stand outside with like a megaphone? That's like WRU headquarters.
Let's keep Jack going while he's on a roll. Obviously, there's been a lot of pundits coming out and saying their true response. I think the one that sticks out is Sam Warburton saying that 25% of the players in Wales shouldn't be pros or shouldn't be professionals. Which
they've all probably played more regional games than he did. So well, he's a fantastic player. But again, like he's coming at it and his view of it is from a success point of view, right? And that's the thing. And I understand his point of view from a success point of view. If you want to be successful, you've got to have the best. But life isn't all, a podcast about being successful. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not how life is. And
how do you fix not having enough players coming through to the 4 professional teams? Do you fix the pathways? Yeah. Do you expand that player base? Do you get, do you want a product that people want to come and watch and get involved in? You'd like to think, well, yeah, they're the answers, but the answer seems to be the WRU. No, what we'll do is we'll chop a region at the top, okay, and we just accept the fact we're weak. And we'll just try and, we'll shrink ourselves down to something we can manage. We just seem arse backwards.
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense. But yeah, as I said, like everyone's entitled to their opinion, and Sam Walton's entitled to his opinion. I'm sure he doesn't care about my opinion, but as I've said before, not everything. I understand the top level of sport; it's all about like high performance. But when you're talking about supporters, we're not, as I've just stated, most of the time you're not going because you're going to watch a high performance, because you care about high performance or whatever it is. Like that's not why you end up supporting the teams you end up supporting. There wouldn't be, countless numbers of football leagues if people wanted to watch the best and only the best. And it's as simple as that. As for the players and as for like the standard of player, whatever it may be, I'm sure he knows way more than I would about that. But in terms of just loss of jobs, loss of identities, loss of cultural loss, I think we need to be looking at more than just high performance, and so on. But yeah, and as you said, developing players.
If anyone hasn't seen any clips of what players have said over the last couple of days, number one, go and listen to what Sam Warburton said directly, and then go and listen to what Alex Cuthbert said as well, and see where the empathy is.
Cuthbert made some really good points actually on the podcast, and he genuinely seems like, because he's got something to do with the Players Association, isn't he? Or is he not a representative on that? I'm not sure.
Is he taken? I don't know. He might be.
But it's just the whole thing's a bit of a shambles, isn't it? But you're talking at an organization, WRU. I know there was this whole discussion about how it should be run and so on, and should the clubs ever vote. But now we look at an organization run by somebody who, as far as I'm aware, was like a barrister, and the other person was a civil servant for the UK government. I mean, like, how much do they know or particularly care about Welsh rugby culture? At the end of the day, it's a job, isn't it? But it's more than that to lots of people. And I would argue it's their job to preserve that to an extent as well, take that into account. But clearly others have thought different. So there we go.
I think you've summed it up pretty spot on. I didn't really have anything else to add, particularly.
If you've got any hate mail, don't send it my way. Thank you, listeners.
This is where I put your address right on screen.
Nobody's going to bother going and physically find Jack. It's a bit of a trek.
It is a bit of a trek, definitely.
on the flight.
It is, yeah.
Just like the URC. Yeah, no one's going to bother going, are they?
Yeah. If you do have an issue, feel free to tell Nick Williams next time again.
Don't wait till the 20th because I'll be busy eating scampi fries.
Shall we move on? And something that is worth bringing up as probably a piece of news I forgot earlier, but Ollie Cracknell from the Ospreys has obviously been called up into the Wales squad, which I think is very much well deserved on him. He's been awesome, or he was awesome for us for years and years and years and years, and he's been very good at Leicester since he joined. Obviously, coming in for an injured Falatau. I'm going to loop this round to a general question about Wales and how do you think we're going to fare on in this autumn, gents? Are we particularly confident, or are we slightly more hesitant?
You know what?
Pessimistic, I think.
It's hard to get motivated, isn't it, around this? But you think the players have gone into camp now on the back of these announcements. Tandy is now thinking, I need to give these guys a little bit of breathing space in terms of getting their heads around things. You can't bollock them and drill them and push them really hard. You know, he says they've gone in with good attitudes. Mark Jones says that it didn't really affect the Ospreys boys going into the weekend, but bloody hell, it's got to play in their minds for the.
I mean, how you got to ask, like, what is their appetite to? How people are competitive, right? And I get the professional athletes, they probably are competitive, but there's got to be that part. It's like, you've just told me I'm sacked. You know, half of them are Ospreys and half of them are Scarlets in the squad. And you basically just said, like, one of us isn't going to have a job. You know, and so it's like, yeah, I assume if you're playing for Wales, they're probably sitting there thinking, well, I'll probably get a contract, which is fine. But you've just sacked my mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Whenever I'm not happy with my employer, I can't say my performance is the best. Let's put it that way. So who knows? But let's hope that that competitive spirit wins through. Just from I'd like to see them beat Argentina and Japan, and I think that there probably is a team there to do it. And I want to see Steve Tandy do well because obviously he played for and managed an area that might not have a professional team in a year's time. So you'll figure that one out.
Yeah. I know we'll be going back around the WI. I'd love to know what Steve Tandy thinks about all this. What he really thinks about this.
Yeah.
And you look at the press conference and you hear that after two questions from the BBC about what's going on with the WRU, and WRU interrupt and say, we'll cut that short, no more questions about this, only rugby related questions about the teamwork.
I think he's probably thinking, couldn't you have waited? Couldn't you have waited? It's probably his main thought. But,
it's going to be tough. Falatau dropping out and Crackers coming in. Okay, Crackers, when he arrived with the Ospreys, we thought he's going to go right through the ranks here. Okay, I think he's going to be better than Lydiate in no time at all, and he didn't get there quickly, and he wasn't better than Dan Lydiate when he left us. Okay, he was nowhere near it. Good, solid player. Have the odd brain fart, give away the odd penalty, and listening to a lot of the reviews of how he's performing in Leicester, okay, he's improved no end. So it's great to see him get there as an 8, because you look around the squad, you would have thought the next back row forwards in line would be someone like Deavesy. Okay, but obviously Tandy's saying, I need an 8, I need a big 8. And what's he got in the squad? Falatau gone, he's got Morgan Morse, and he's got Wainwright to cover, effectively. So if you're going in for 4 games, he's brought in specifically a specialist 8 to fill that gap, which is good, solid decision making potentially, as opposed to heart on your sleeve. It give Deavesy a chance.
it wouldn't surprise me to see a back row start of Cracknell, Morgan, and Wainwright. Yeah, Wainwright. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, like, you're talking about a player who played like 24, 25 times last season for Leicester, and that was under Michael Chekai, who's, you know, a lot of players he's played don't watch. So, I mean, he's obviously got something about him. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. You know, I don't. Well, yeah, I think everyone thinks that Wainwright will probably be at 8 now, and then someone else at 6. But I don't know.
You know, Morgan Morse's time is coming to get capped, isn't it? If you take Fowler out of the squad, Morgan Morse
Yeah.
could end up coming out of this with a couple of caps.
Surely he starts against Japan, if nothing else.
Surely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's good enough to do it against anyone who he plays when he starts at 8. Not at 6, not at 7, at 8.
Yeah.
Mind you, I really like the idea of a back row of Alex Madden, Jack Morgan, and Morgan Morse. I just think it's so dynamic, and I just think Morgan Morse and Alex Madden are just going to get under people's skin in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And just be sort of nasty bastards, which is probably something we've sort of missed in our back row as of late.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, Plumtree's in the squad, is he? No.
Yeah, but he's just there to have this bright fight with Sia Khaleesi in the last game.
I thought you were on about nasty bastards.
No, he's not a nasty bastard. He's just nasty.
Yeah.
I think it's a good squad though. If you look at like, you know, it actually. I was looking at the other day. I think it looks good. You know, like a decent amount of size in there, a lot of grit. It's going to be interesting to see how they play. I think they can beat Australia. I think they can beat Argentina, and I think they can beat Japan. Why not? New Zealand
Yeah.
and South Africa. It would be so Welsh to beat New Zealand for the first time, like since like the 50s now, wouldn't it? Like
Yeah.
to lose massively against like, you know, Japan, everyone's just like, oh, the game's gone. And then all of a sudden, like a 3-point win over New Zealand, you know.
I don't know how I'd feel after that.
Yeah.
God, I'd be insufferable, but God, I'd be insufferable.
Oh,
It's just on the back of everything that's going on, I've got a degree of apathy for these 4 international games.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm quietly excited. In that I think Steve Tandy's been very good towards the press. I think the way he's also like talked about his players and talked about the squad and how he's not shying away from the big issues is really like a nice stuff. I don't think you see that from many other coaches in world rugby. Let's just hope it has the same effect that you'd like on the field.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? You know, there's almost a protest now in terms of people not going to the game. People who were thinking about buying tickets, not buying tickets. People who've already got tickets potentially not turn up. And you look at the official figures of, is it 82,000 tickets unsold? There's probably a hell of a lot more just sitting in rugby clubs that the rugby clubs have bought and they potentially can't find a home for as well. So it's going to be quite an unusual atmosphere at those games, I think.
I had a look the other day. It's not sort of like 60 quid for a ticket against New Zealand for an adult, which is still quite bloody expensive at the end of the day.
Yeah, I normally used to go to an old international with my dad and my brother, like an annual thing. I mean, I was paying like 105, £110 for a ticket to watch them play New Zealand a few years ago. So that's a big drop, £60 now, isn't it? And they can say all they want. Oh, but they've been saying our targets. Yeah, we're on target for our ticket sales, but you don't drop something that much if you think you're on target for your ticket sales, do you?
Do you want some money saving advice here? If you want to go to a game, buy the cheapest possible ticket and then get up, okay, have a look around the stadium, okay, and go and sit somewhere really expensive. There's going to be loads of empty seats in some prime spots.
Yeah, the thing is, the last time I did that was at a PSV Eindhoven game, and I thought, hey, there you go, 20 minutes in, no one's coming to this seat. Sat down, sitting there, and the child in a wheelchair came and pulled up next to me. I thought, oh no, was looking at me, staring at me, and I was like, oh no. And yeah, sure enough, I had taken, and I don't speak very good Dutch, and I had taken the disabled seats. Not my proudest moment. I may have ran off afterwards. I just left. I just left the entire stadium. I was like, you know what? Actually, like, I'm going home. So there you go. Be careful if you are. Make sure you can read the signs that are around you. That was, yeah, not my proudest moment.
Shocking form.
In my defense, I didn't know. But yeah.
Was there anyone with you to witness this and to look at you and go,
Yeah, a friend of mine called Connor. And he didn't move. He said, I'm not going. You shouldn't do that. I was like, right, well, you can sit here behind this pole. I'm off down there to the prime seats. Not. I learned some lessons that day.
We're trying not to apologise more as a pod. Fuck's sake. Let's finish up this week then and quickly go through what would be our starting Wales squad or first 15 for the game against Argentina. You guys don't look particularly excited.
Yeah, who'd you want, Zach?
Uh,
I think one is the one position where you can go, do you know what? Okay, you've actually got three options there. I'm not quite sure if Reece Carey is sort of scrimmaging really, but okay, the other.
Reece Carey off the bench always feels quite nice. Bit of oomph to smash into Santiago Carreras or something, or whoever's playing at 10, Alamos.
Yeah.
Just, so
I think Carey comes on off the bench maybe.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have a solid scrum, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's Nicky starting, surely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gareth Thomas did a good job over on his new international colleague, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay, that's just
there we are. That's a nice spread, isn't it? Yeah, probably Nicky then.
Yeah, probably Nicky Smith.
I can believe that, can it?
I mean, Dewey's starting. I don't think there's any more discussion there. Tight head, it's probably Archie Griffin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else? Can Reece Carey play tight head?
You look at the boy and thinking, but you're heavy enough, mate. Give it a go. It's not as simple as that, though, is it?
No, sadly not. Sadly not.
Yeah. Let's have a tight head and one that preferably can scrummage. Anything else is optional.
Yeah, it's probably Archie Griffin, isn't it?
Yeah. Locks of Jenkins and Beardy. What do you think Fender gets a look in?
Yeah, I'd say so as well.
You start with. You might start with what he knows, but you would have thought Rhys Davies and Fender will have an outing hopefully together at some point.
Yeah.
Back row, I think, probably picks itself.
7 picks itself.
7 is Jack Morgan. I think 8 is probably going to be Wainwright.
Yeah, and then
Cracknell walks his way at C, and then I see an Alex Mann at 6. I just have a feeling.
Yeah, maybe Freddie Thomas.
Maybe Freddie Thomas. Maybe Rhys Davies.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does Tandy want to play the back row? Because there's so many options in terms of what sort of combinations do you want? Once we know, does he want a massive? Does he want a second row come back rower at 6?
Well, why wouldn't you go Wainwright 6, Cracknell at 8, and then bring on
Morgan Morse?
Why not? Why is that so unbelievable?
Again, the impact off the bench, Morgan Morse off the bench can cause chaos, can it?
Because and then as you said, Alex Mann off the bench as well. Yeah. I'm going with that. I'm going with Cracknell, Wainwright, and Morgan. That's a good back three, that, I'm telling you.
I'll tend to agree with that. I think it's probably the best on paper. Most suitable for international rugby, certainly. 9 and 10, is it Hardy Thomas and Dan Edwards, isn't it?
Thomas Williams and Dan Edwards.
I think so. It wouldn't surprise. Jared Evans, maybe.
I'm not even discussing that opinion.
All right, fine. Okay, there we go.
He played at 12 more weekends.
All right, I'll take that. Okay, that's fine. If Sheedy could kick, then it'd be Sheedy, wouldn't it? But standing it, yeah.
If my mother had wheels, she'd be a bike.
Point well made. Point well made. Yeah.
Can you do that with the Italian accent, please?
I think then centres is probably is it Joe Hawkins or Ben Thomas at 12?
Depends how big he wants to go, doesn't it? I mean, here's the thing. Okay. It's that Matt Sherratt absolutely loves to play a 12 that can play, and he loves Ben Thomas. I don't think Ben Thomas gets dropped, but Is it
If
mad? Is it mad to think that Louis Hennessy could play there because he's massive?
He played for a bit for the 20s. I mean, he played against New Zealand in the Under 20 World Championship
He's like
and
six
scored
foot
an
one. Is
absolute. He scored an absolute screamer against them from off a couple of really nice strides in that tournament
I think
with like
yeah.
12 Hennessy and 13 Max Page.
He's a massive bloke. He's really big. I know he's young, but he is huge.
Gatland was there at 12.
But you look at the, you would have thought the Scarlet Centres would be in line for playing. But when you look at how the team have performed this season, it's hard to pick the pair from there and go and right, it'll be those two. I think.
Nick Tompkins is playing very well 12 for Saracens.
But he's playing
Very.
13, isn't he? With
I
outside
think he's been playing
Farrell.
at 12 for Saris though. Is he not?
He's been playing outside Owen Farrell at 12.
Oh yeah, good point. Take it back.
I
No one
could
listened to me.
I could legitimately see Joe Hawkins and Nick Tompkins.
Yeah.
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 I just have a feeling that Ben Thomas is getting dropped. I don't know why.
Maybe it's because he's played a lot of games and hasn't really torn up many trees. He's always looked a bit. I've never been convinced. Let's put
He
that.
looks like a club player at international level. Just
Yeah.
has
Yeah. There's something, you know, when you're watching something and you're just like, something seems off here. You know, I think that's kind of. He's a good player, and as I said, Matt Sherritt really likes him. So
we'll see.
yeah,
If he likes him, you should love Joe Hawken then, shouldn't
yeah. Joe Horgan's is just a slightly bigger version, isn't he?
Yeah.
Slightly more robust.
All right, and then back three. Adams, Murray, Lewis Usama.
he? I
Yeah.
can't say that man's name. I can't say that man's name. He seems to be the one guy who's massively happy to be in Welsh camp, doesn't he? Grinning all the time. Does my thing.
I think it's knowing he has a job in R360 next year, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. Zamet, yeah, Zamet. Adam. Tell you what, I will say this: his move to NFL for a couple of years to make all that money doesn't seem so stupid now, does it?
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Probably why he's smiling. Like, if you look at how much they pay for those player pathways, God, I'd be smiling. Wouldn't stop smiling.
Yeah.
I don't think he has, to be fair.
I think, yeah, I think Dammit he looks so much bigger than he did. And it's good. I think he's going to be, yeah. It's good to have him back in Welsh rugby. I think it's really because he could score try out of nothing. You know, him and Blaine Murray together. Not sure if they're going to pass the ball ever to each other, but we'll see. Like,
yeah, you know those little voices of people taking the mic, shouting from the crowd, going, "You can score from there."
yeah, they both go look up and go, "I'm not passing. I'm just going to go." So
I've got a gut feeling that he's going to start beefing 15.
you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think.
I'd be fine with that.
Then have Murray on the left wing and Zamet on the right.
Beatham's a tidy player. Like, he's a good player. Big. He's got a bit of size to him as well, isn't he? So
yeah, he just feels like a Steve Tandy fullback. He reminds me a lot of Dan Evans.
Yeah.
I think Josh Adams has done a good job though this season, hasn't he? Because he's been slightly off for a while and he's played really well this season. It's hard to say that, but there we are.
Josh Adams is one of my favourite players, to be fair.
He's just so good at, like, you know, he's such a hard-working winger, isn't he? He's brilliant. It must be difficult for him remembering like the good days of winning games. You know.
That's not so. What 1 to 15? Nicky Smith, Derry Lake, Archie Griffin, Adam Beard, Jenkins, Daft Jenkins. Then what we went for Wainwright, Morgan, Cracknell, 6, 7, 8.
I wouldn't, but yeah, I'll go with the majority.
Overrules by young people. First time ever. Thomas, Dan Edwards, Hawkins, Tompkins.
Yeah, I was overruled on my Hennessy claim. So
yeah, it's and then Zamet, Murray, Adams.
Yeah,
it's not a bad team, that is it?
shouldn't be a bad team.
It's certainly a team that should be competitive in at least 2 of the games.
At least one of the game, maybe 2.
Right, I hope the Steve Tandy effect that does a job for the boys.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
I think hope is probably the thing we should end the pod on, both on the field and off. If you've liked this pod, feel free to drop it a like on whatever platform you're on, or subscribe to us in any capacity. It means a lot, and it helps us get out there to more people, to more Ospreys fans. And if you really want to be quite keen, you can share it to someone in your life. Weird story. My friend who lives in East Anglia was chatting to someone in a bar wearing an Ospreys jumper, and they mentioned that they listened to the Ospreys Eyrie, which, you know what, felt really weird. But if you want to do that more, feel free. It's a great way to get it out there, and it means a lot to us personally. That's been all for us this week. We will be back, I imagine, during the international period. At some points, we've got some ideas for some content. Hope a few interviews maybe in the pipeline. Wait and see. Until then, it's been a pleasure. Good night.
Good night.